Yo, what it do, everybody? They just put on their starting soon screen. On average, these have been about 10 minutes, give or take. No music yet, though. I'm waiting on the music. But yeah, here we go. Now, just as we go into this stream, this is a community check-in. There's the timer. There's the timer. As we go into this, things I'm expecting to hear. I'm expecting a pretty hefty Danny nerf. I'm sure I don't know if they're going to go into specifics of it. I don't know if they're at that point already. It's been a week, you know. But I'm expecting a pretty hefty Danny nerf. I'm expecting probably some sort of adjustment to Nancy when it comes to poison claws and pins and needles. I don't know if they'll actually. Her ability is probably fine. Maybe they adjust her level 3 spy ability a little bit. Maybe it's really her perks that make her so powerful. But I'm thinking we get to that. I think they might adjust Valve again. I think they might make it where a family can't turn it off quite as fast. But we'll see. So we'll see what's come out of this thing. I think they're kind of I mean, just go off our video today, right? I think there are a lot of people that are upset with Danny. I think there are people that are upset with Nancy, and they have a lot to address here. So I'm curious how they're going to do it. I'm glad that I get to react to it, because I was supposed to have a meeting right now, but I got, well, quote-unquote lucky. I'm actually nervous that the meeting was canceled, but, you know, it opened up the schedule. It kind of worked out that we could do this reaction, because they only announced it this morning. It was a quick little flip. Shirtless Johnny. Yeah, can we get an actual reveal and a first look at Shirtless Johnny? Thank you. Dude, these ads they do now on Twitch, like just little, it's like watching the NFL, the little 30-second ads. I don't like that. How dare they just throw that in there like that. Yeah, Game Awards tonight. I'm excited for Game Awards too. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a live reaction, by the way, because now we're going to be out of notifications. So if I do it, it's going to have to be for members. So the members' reaction to the Game Awards. Almost certain Killer Clowns is going to have a trailer there. It might be a release date reveal. We'll see. But I definitely will be covering that and making a video on that. So, oh, come on, Killer Clowns. Bring some hype into the ASEN community. My XP was just killed, Dad. Somebody commented, Chase, on the video today, and they were like, "Oh, Danny, look at my car, man. My dad's gonna freak." I was like, "Yeah, we're getting this trend going. Let's go." Twitch ads are pretty annoying, man. Because they're unskippable. They're really long and unskippable. Well, see, killing the game, it's not like it's the worst experience in the world, but yeah, it was banana bread, see? Yeah, Danny's gonna have people fall off. I don't know, you have to look at it. It's a $10 DLC that is the most powerful ability and character in the game. Yeah, man, it's rough, and a lot of people are dodging him. Yeah, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look, so. I wouldn't get rid of Bomb Squad, but I would definitely make it where you can't get rid of traps as fast with Bomb Squad. That's another thing, though. Like, there's a bug with Bomb Squad and Nancy's traps, you know? Yeah, the TCM pinball trailer. I reached out to do that. No, I'm not buying one, that's for sure. They're like 10 grand. On, like, yeah, probably the lowest you could get one is probably like 7 to 8 grand. Nah. They ain't got that, dude. But I did reach out to those guys. I'm like, I'm not necessarily asking for a review copy. You know, you don't have to send me a machine to review, but those guys actually are pretty close to me. Spooky Pinball's located, I think, within like an hour of me. So I'm like, hey, if I could just come try it out and maybe do a video, and we can, that'd be pretty neat. You know, we can mic you guys up and you can walk us through how you built the machine. That'd be pretty neat. So, honestly, I doubt they ever respond to me, but I reached out. Why do they have to do 10-minute countdowns, dude? And if you're gonna do, here's my thing. If you're gonna do a 10-minute countdown into a stream that's scheduled for 3 o'clock, you start the countdown at 250. You know? It's gonna be tricky like that. Otherwise, keep your countdown under like 3 minutes. We used to try to go 5 minutes, but man, it was if you would like get viewers in and then they'd leave before the stream even started. Yeah, the stream's on Twitch. They're streaming on Twitch. Yeah, there we go. Back to long lobby timers. Thank you, Sir Term. It's a little small in my head though. I had to unfold it, so I'm covering the Nightmare on Elm Street logo because this is officially licensed hat. Hey, Coyote man, when the lobby's open, jump in there. We're gonna start doing more and more private, like not custom games, but private games. Now that I have Danny max, although I want Chase to have the opportunity to max his Danny too. So get in there, and Nick too if he's been pushing Danny. Got to get them characters maxed out. The lack of XP in private games hurts, man. I think, well, that's a good question actually, of family not hitting Nancy traps. I mean, do you guys think if you make it where family can't hit Nancy traps, do you think it makes her OP? I think that's like my biggest concern, because I think that adds a lot of power to her. If you can just straight up throw a trap into like let's look at tool storage at Slaughterhouse, right? There's those two big doorways there that you could throw Nancy traps in, high traffic area. If family can just run through those, it makes a massive difference. It makes them way more powerful. Yeah, she'd probably be too powerful, right? That's what I would think. Oh my God, Chase, get it together, man. What's up, Kyle? Good to see you, dude. Shirtless Johnny is actually real. They confirmed that. Yeah, he's coming, which is wild, but hell yeah. Yeah, especially because if you can, at that point, if family can run through Nancy's traps and then you combine her with a hitchhiker, so Leatherface Nancy Hitch or Cook Nancy Hitch, you know, the old Elvis tech. If you do that, yeah, you just have the whole map covered. The whole map is covered, and there's nothing that makes the family have to work around those traps at all. I just don't know how you'd win. It would take so much communication and skill to win as a victim at that point. And so solo queue life against that would be rough. Yeah, I'm sure that stalling bug is going to be talked about in this stream for sure. It also just makes it where Nancy doesn't have to check on her traps as much, you know, like, because but at the same time as well, let me just say, devil's advocate on this case for family running through Nancy's traps, it also gets rid of what is kind of proving to be a toxic experience solo queuing with Nancy, where you'll just get family members trolling you, and intentionally. I know a lot of people are doing an accident, and I do it all the time. But a lot of guys will just literally look at your trap, watch you set it, and just walk through it and intentionally troll with you. So there's that. There's that part. Yeah, offline bots, that's a good question. Talk about future content? Probably not, other than maybe like cosmetics, especially because shit just leaked again. And, yeah. I wonder if they'll talk about Maria. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, let me actually, I have the music, my own music playing too, over their music. I'm surprised you guys didn't already yell at me about that. There we go, that should be off now, and then I can turn this volume up when they're actually on. Well, I haven't gone on my way to look at leaks, but I have had some sent to me. They're not like huge leaks, but there's one that's significant that hit me in the face, but yeah, I mean, like Danny leaks, for example. If Danny's not in the game and he gets killed by Leatherface in the opening intro, you know, like the opening animation, he's wearing unreleased cosmetics in almost every single time. So you got they hit you with their own leaks at this point. Wes in a flannel shirt and Matt in a retro film t-shirt. Yeah, Matt's definitely going to be in a horror themed shirt. My guess is probably Return of the Living Dead. That's my guess. We'll see. And Wes, I think Wes might be in like a baseball tee. You know what I mean? Like like a long sleeve baseball type of tee. I'm into that. That's my guess. That's my guess for the day. Wes will be wearing a hat. You guys remember when Wes had the really cool fancy stash? Yeah. Well, so they're gonna be looking at questions in chat. Any question that I ask, it's already gonna be asked. So I'm not too worried about throwing in my own questions. All right, here we go.
It's us.
How's it going, everybody?
Oh, the
What's
sweater.
Going on? Oh man, Leatherface keeps losing his nose. Look.
Dude, I think they only go to like
everybody?
XL in those sweaters.
Coat,
I couldn't get one. I wanted one though. They're freaking cool.
So, how's it going, everybody? This is a community check-in with myself, Matt, your brand strategy lead here at Gun, and the one and only.
I'm Wes Keltner.
Let me know if you guys can't hear.
If you guys don't know who we are, we, well, what are you really doing here?
Wes is not wearing a
we're
hat,
also
dude.
joined today by my friend Nugget.
We were all wrong.
There you go.
I mean, Nugget needs to be the new sound check. So
That's what we, yeah.
By the way, Chad, are we good? Sound, audio,
Yeah.
like
Look
everything.
at the rub. Got the
Can we
rub
get
out
some,
there.
Some thumbs ups or some somethings to let us know if sounds good and picture quality's good. You can see
No, wait, let me do
Leatherface's
this.
nose on his shirt.
Here we go.
Leatherface.
Should we good now?
New video. There we go. Yeah. All right, so basically we wanted to go live today because there's a, we put out a patch. It's a massive patch, and I need to mute my laptop. We put out this massive patch, and as things can kind of go with that, you're running.
That was a Slack notification.
2 or something.
It was a lot.
70 something fixes at a time. It turns into some things happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make sure that we kind of, number one, check in with you guys, talk to you guys a little bit about some of those things that are happening, but also let you guys know what we're cooking up for an upcoming rapid patch.
Little rapid patch, and that's very
Love
normal. Like when you drop a patch
Mountain
as
Dew
big
ad,
as we
let's go.
did with that many fixes, because there's like it's splintered builds. Like there's a lot of different builds that we had.
If you want to ask that questions,
before
you have
we
to
did
go
the
into their
big
Twitch
giant
chat.
patch. So when you have that many different builds that are being patched independently, when you merge all those into one,
Can't even think I'm
which
getting
is
louder.
you absolutely have to do to like have a stronger future of the title. You got to do
It's
that.
as loud as it goes.
You're gonna some things are not gonna go as planned. You can test them all day long, and still once it's out in the wild, you'll notice like, oh, that's not great.
Just keep
So, yeah,
watching,
we'll need to
or I'll fucking kill
put
you.
out a rapid patch to fix a few things that didn't
That's
go
plenty loud,
smoothly
right?
as we wanted to.
And now, we have this Muerto Times that we like to do. We could have rolled just another Muerto Times today. We will be rolling a Muerto Times today, by the way. That'll be coming out shortly after the stream.
Oh,
But we
good.
also wanted to take a minute to actually, get in front of a camera for you guys. We know that the situation with rapid patching when the game first launched was, weekly patch. We were kicking ass for a while there, and then we had to move to a longer patch cycle in order to harden the build and get some things going, and also in order to be able to really like kind of noodle into some of those
I don't
bigger
look anything
problems,
like
things
Wes.
that were a little deeper in the game. And that being said, the situation with the cycle of Muerto Times patch notes patch, Muerto Times patch notes patch, that left a lot of people kind of used to that right when it came time for us to change it. And so in order to kind of, again, like I said, sit down in front of the camera and let you guys know where we're at and let you guys know everything's going to be all right, don't, burn the house down just yet, we figured would be good to do a check-in. So that being said, we're going to do our community check-in now. We're going to get through a couple of items here. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to take some questions from chat. When we're all wrapped for the day, we're going to run a Muerto Times. As soon as we have the patch notes, we're going to get those patch notes out to you. But before we go any further, I would like to actually let my co-host here share the potential targeted, as you guys know with rapid patches. We always target a date. We keep it that way because there's, anything can go wrong, and that's kind of the life
Wes
of
is
game dev.
bald.
But we have a
Matt's
targeted
got
date
hair.
for the upcoming rapid patch. And Wes, when is it?
Yeah, looks like we're looking at Tuesday of next week. Could spill to Wednesday, but that's our target. It's holidays. It's sometimes there's not everyone is around, so there's a bit of that. But that's the target that we have right now is next Tuesday. Yeah, fingers crossed. Everything is all good to go there. And
that's Tuesday.
I want to shout out
the
who's running the
12th.
show for a second.
Oh,
here.
yeah, that's right.
Right off the rip here, we need to point something
I
out.
almost forgot.
Rob is usually Rob is busy doing design, busy doing some maybe some fun future
Andy?
things that
Better
are
be
coming to
Andy.
the game. Never know, but who's running the show right now? Can we get a camera throw? It's Mighty Mel.
Oh, Mel.
Yay. It's great to have other faces and other people that are, manning the ones and the twos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very cool. So shouts out to Mighty Mel, also head of all our customer support. And she's a firecracker. She's awesome. So shouts out.
Yeah. Also, you guys might have noticed, I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Oh, are we going to do a little product placement here?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I wonder how much those gun boys paid for that product placement there. But
Right.
yeah, we launched.
Hashtag sponsor stream.
So we launched, the Texas Dry Rubs, which is pretty rad. Where can one get Matt's sweater? I want it so bad. Actually, I'm going to shout out Middle of Beyond real quick.
Middle of Beyond, yes.
Middle of Beyond makes this, and it's every bit as cool as it
I think
seems.
Walmart's selling a very similar sweater, by the way, but just not in very big
guys,
sizes.
It's actually pretty much just one dude, but great shop if you're into anything horror related. They do things a little differently. So if you don't want just a traditional,
I think
boring shirt
Walmart's
that
got
you've
like
seen, like the
Ghostface,
key art of a film
Jason,
a million times on
and
a
maybe
shirt.
Freddy too.
Middle of
And a
Beyond.
very, very
Check
similar
them out.
style Christmas
Great
sweater.
website. I'm also sporting a little something today.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we can't get it on camera, but
Yeah.
it's without showing my crotch off, it's a Don't Torture a Duckling. If you're some of the Fulci fans out there,
There you go.
Wow.
shouts out to the Giallo stuff. So anyway, moving on. Let's do the important things that we're really all here for.
We should have known he was wearing a Giallo
Yeah,
shirt.
well,
That should have been
yeah,
our real
you're
guess.
right. We're all friends here, but we have work to do. The number one thing that I think we
Yeah,
should really
at least my
touch on
Walmart
is gonna
did.
be,
A Ghostface Christmas sweater.
the UI bug for Leatherface.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Basically, I'm going to kick the laptop. Nug, if you don't mind, I'm going to scoot you down. I'm going to kick the laptop aside. Basically, the situation with the UI bug for Leatherface, it's important to kind of understand what we mean when we say there's a UI bug going on. Right now, the rev meter for Leatherface, that fills up as you rev the chainsaw, which leads to you being able to go overhead with it. You can kind of feather it at a certain point, and then you can do your slam attacks. That UI element is not accurately depicting where you're at in the rev right now.
I don't
Basically,
think
when I say not
that's the
accurately,
bug.
also, it's showing you as safer as far as a max rev than you are.
No,
Yes.
because
You're
when
closer, you're
because if
actually
you go to
closer
overheat,
overheating than it's showing, and that's causing a lot of real hiccups and issues because players are overheating a lot sooner than they would normally.
I haven't seen it
So that being
way.
said, that's something that we have to fix. Now,
What about the stalling bug?
the tricky part with this overheat issue, or with this UI element that's leading to the overheat issue, is there's some other things that may be going on there with Leatherface, but we can't really start needling into those until we get through this UI bug.
Right.
So what we wanted to do was include in this rapid patch a fix for the UI issue, get that sorted so that we can see what effect that has on some of the other things that we're kind of seeing crop up with Leatherface right now. We can't really we'd be, shooting in the dark trying to poke at those elements without getting this sorted out first. But we're relying on you, our community, to also make sure that you're communicating with us depending on what happens from here forward. So once this patch goes out and the UI issue's right, the overheat /stall / whatever is functioning the way you would expect it to with the UI that's being presented to you. Hopefully you guys can report on anything else you see. And, there's also a solid chance that you're not going to see any of the issues that you're seeing right now anymore. It could be mostly tied to this.
I'm
Right.
almost
That's why you target-
certain
why we target
that the
that one
stalling
first is-
issue is not related to
If,
UI.
if that's out of sync, like if what you're seeing versus what's happening in game is out of sync, it makes complete sense why we're seeing more people, stall and having that issue, and seeing that and feeling that doesn't feel good. And that being the number one thing that we target to say, I think we got to start with this one first. It's never a good idea.
I could explain why
turning
I
a bunch
think
of
that.
knobs and changing
I'm not
a bunch of
talking like a
things all at once,
programmer. I'm
and
talking
then
like
you end up shifting too far or breaking something more than what it needed. So we do, like Matt was saying, we do know there's still probably something that needs to be adjusted with that. But this is the sort of the
Chainsaw needs
bigger
more
thing
oil.
that we see that we want to make that change or make that fix now. And then you guys come back to us.
I wish I could
after
pause
that's out
and
in the
explain
wild
why I
and
don't think
say,
it's a UI bug.
yeah, that feels right now, or there's still something here that's seems off, and but we're going to keep poking at it because it's just that's how game dev works. You just kind of always lifting the hood and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that with this, and I think that it goes back to our point earlier about 270 fixes or whatnot. you know, when you put something like that large of a patch out, there's so many areas that are being touched that you know, we're confident in the work that we do, but by the same note, game dev sometimes is a little bit of a fickle kind of situation. So we're gonna get the UI element fixed up. We're counting on you guys to help us out, seeing what happens from there on.
You're right.
The
I'm
next
gonna
thing I
write
want
cliff
to talk
notes.
about,
That's a good point.
Danny permanently opening the fuse box exit.
I'm gonna put on sticky notes.
This is
I'm
a tricky
handwrite
one
them.
because Danny is not supposed to be permanently opening up that fuse box exit. Danny is supposed to be adding to the amount of time that the fuse box exit stays open. So we want to dig into Danny a bit. Now, I know there's a lot of people, I'm already seeing it in chat. I know there's a lot of folks saying, you know, just in general, nerf Danny. You've heard me say before, various places, Twitter, Reddit, things like that. We like to take a more measured approach. We try not to go too crazy with these changes too quick. Now, I know some of you will probably criticize and say, oh, this change was too heavy. But, you know, again, it's, you know, kind of up to interpretation and opinion. But from our side, we like to try to take a more measured approach with these things, especially with balancing items like, for instance, Danny. One thing we know for sure is the fuse box door is not supposed to stay open permanently.
Right.
That's an issue. That's something we have to take care of. So,
So that
that's
was
on
just
our
a
list, and
bug
that'll
when
be
that happened the
fixed
first
in this
day.
rapid patch. And, you know, I know everybody was listening to the Danny
haven't
news
seen it
and
since
going,
the
just talk
first
about
day, though.
Johnny, so let's just get to Johnny. Johnny's movement and lunge.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah.
Johnny.
If you don't mind, I'll take the rip here. Johnny's supposed to lunge. He's supposed. He is a natural predator. He's supposed to be one of our more focused killers. You know, he's more prolific at it. He's you know, more like
It was a bug.
He's a shark, really. And you know, oh god, I just reminded myself of Busta Rhymes. Never mind. Anyway, Michael Myers is a shark. Sorry. So he's like a shark, and so he's supposed to have that lunge. What he's not supposed to do is gain speed by swinging his weapon. Now, the situation was one where we were seeing on the actual data of the game that lunging attack was creating a boost in speed. And when we needled in and started trying to tinker with that to fix that, there's this whole spider web there with animations and things like that that led to some issues that tacked on. That's what you guys are seeing now, those issues. So basically, you know, we wanted the lunge in there and we wanted to fix the speed, but in doing so, we've created some problems that we need to kind of tease out. So we're reverting the Johnny change. It's more important that he has a lunge and feels smooth than it is to worry about that speed boost. So
that's the takeaway.
So they're reverting him completely.
It's supposed to be about distance and not about being able to move through a map faster. He's not supposed to have like a higher top speed necessarily. Right. It's supposed to be about being able to lunge, and then seeing that change that went in. It wasn't in the
at this point. They're going to nerf fired up.
We had intended for it to go. I think it was a little too severe, and so just rolling that back to the way it was, but knowing that we're still going to need to tweak that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. I think his tracking's the same.
Important.
Just the
Wes just hit on it, and I think we have to kind of asterisk say it again. There will be changes coming to Johnny and the way Johnny moves. We want to do them in a way that's clean and maintains that lunge and all of that.
Correct.
And obviously there was a situation here, so...
If that's the takeaway when you're listening to what we're saying right now about Johnny, he's going to go back to the way it was, and some of you are going to be like, hooray! But know that in the future, it's not speed, it's distance that the lunge is supposed to be doing. And that's what we need to get in and adjust. Not we're going to take his lunge back away again. No, it's the speed of that is what needs to be
I'm telling you, it's going to end up leading to a fired-up nerf.
Clears that up, and that makes sense.
Yeah. It's really the expectation of, know that this is something that's going to be a continuous thing. There's another one here. This one's a little easy. There's a victim invincibility situation with some hiding spots. This is there's a couple of things going on with hiding spots right now.
They suck.
I want to clarify that this is a situation where you're grabbing a victim and they can become invincible when entering or exiting a hiding spot. And that invincibility is not like an iframe. That invincibility is, now I cannot be killed for the rest of the match.
Yeah, it's a state change error. It's a bug in the state,
That being said, there is some things going on there that, victims entering and exiting and entering and being able to loop those hiding spots that can potentially be a problem, and we're still kind of digging in and investigating that. But for the bug side of it that renders someone completely unkillable, that's fixed. And this one's kind of fun. We're nerfing Nugget.
Oh man, already?
Someone in chat just said Nugget seems like a problem now, and so I was like, this is a perfect time to talk about our friend.
Animal Farm sucks again.
If you want chat to turn against you, you just did it.
Everybody's like, Nugget, no. So you want to kick this one off? What are we doing to the Nug Man?
I mean, I guess what it's coming down to is I'm gonna give it like a specific example of something so that there's a takeaway that makes sense. You're in a building and on the other side of the wall there's Nugget in a cage, and whenever you get close to that wall, Nugget is being alerted even though Nugget doesn't see you. Obviously, it's not supposed to work that way. The wall is supposed to occlude his like capsule of alert, and we've seen a few spots where that occurs, and so holistically, like sort of Nugget's being looked at and where it is on map locations and what's that capsule around him for being alerted. That whole thing is being looked at, and that's being adjusted for the patch.
There's one more area too that kind of in this process of
it's probably much harder to fix
something's going on with
than
Nug.
you think.
People were sending in reports and things showing that
I highly doubt they got all of them.
Psychic Nug through the wall.
Yeah.
That kind of led to some other investigations and thoughts. Noise sticks to the victims now.
Yeah.
So as the victims are running through the world and triggering a Nugget, it's sticking to them, and that's changing. So that's like kind of changing how Nugget's role in the game in general. And so kind of, I guess the word I'm looking for is sharpening down the Nugget situations and the Nugget encounters now. So, shout out to the folks reporting the Nugget through the wall, because I think that kind of opens the eyes to a significant amount of things that we're like, well, now that this is changing and that's changing, we have to take another look at this. But some of that was done in the big patch. You'll notice there were some Nuggets added, and we've been
you mean like
playing
door
a little
slams?
bit with
Or
where
like the
they
sliding door?
Populate the map. But,
Sliding door isn't on
again,
purpose.
live games are
with not having sound.
That's kind of how this goes. So, our list, there's obviously going to be a hell of a lot more going into this rapid patch. Some of it, these were the heavy hitters. These were the elements that we had to make sure we talked to you guys about and got them said. There's some more things in there. Obviously, you'll know more about it as soon as we have the patch notes. We aim to have the patch notes on Monday, like we usually do. Muerto times later today. Patch notes Monday.
I kind of feel bad, dude.
We're shooting for Tuesday, and as we always said throughout the rapid patch phase, which this falls under the category of a rapid patch. The target being Tuesday, things happen, and if something goes wrong with cert, if something goes wrong with something, and that could push things out. So just keep that in mind, and don't get too angry if you hear from us that hey, it's going to slip.
We need another day or whatever because something went wrong or whatever. And again, like I said, especially with the holiday, not everybody.
We
can't.
I have a lot to say. Just we'll skip. I don't want to interrupt them too much. Give me a second.
Speaking of, we will be taking some time off for the holiday, so we'll talk to you guys more about all of that on our official channels. So give us a little grace in that period, but we want to get this done and out the door beforehand. So, So now, with that being said, I think we should probably tackle a couple of questions from the chat. One person just goes, "Is Johnny getting a buff? Is Danny getting nerfed?" It's almost like you missed the stream. Maybe watch the past broadcast, catch up, and then we'll talk about it. But let me grab the laptop and let's get to some questions from chat real quick. I just saw one fly by. We're going to pull this back up. Will the original victims be able to have some of Danny's unique perks? There's perks that seem fitting for the past victims. I think that, and again, if you don't mind, Wes,
please
launch straight into this. I think that the situation with that is as simple as we don't have anything off the table. We don't have any situation where we're like, we wouldn't do that as far as perks are concerned. But we have to be careful because, as you guys know, you can easily throw things out of whack with perks when you start slotting new things in. We do want to, at one point, like we discussed the last time Wes and I were on this couch, we discussed wanting to extend that tree up, maybe out. We're not sure. Once we get to a point where we know what we want to put in that extension, then we can start thinking about that. But it's not off the table, but by the same note, it's also something that we wouldn't do on a whim or without the proper amount of work going into it. And we do have a perk update coming down the line at some point in the near future. So that would probably wait for that so that everybody, you know, from both Sumo and Gun, we could be focused on perks and kind of really dive into that stuff. But
yeah, the only problem with what he
Ooh,
just
here's a
said
good
is
one
that,
for
like,
you.
Danny's
For
perks
me?
are not
Yeah.
exclusive to him.
Any
So
new
why
outfits or
are
DLC
they
coming?
acting like they are,
Yeah.
like in the tree? You know, they
I love
should
when Wes
cross
answers
over.
like that.
Yeah, but yeah, we've got things planned. Yes, you can expect that in the future. Some things maybe sooner than you might realize. So yeah, stay tuned.
There you go. Will double XP ever be permanent? No. Or will it come back? Yes.
It will come back.
That's
yeah.
pretty easy, right?
Holiday event? Holiday event
Let's see here.
confirmed?
Thoughts on splitting family,
Nah, I'm just
victim,
kidding.
voice, text, comms, and pregame lobby would help coordinate before the match. I see where you're coming from, meme dude. That's an interesting one. I think though that right now we're kind of in this area of we have that mute all option, so you can silence the folks from the other side. We know a lot of folks that are trying to coordinate use Discord for comms. I think that it might make sense in the near future to do like a mute the other team or something. But again,
that's an interesting like UI like addition.
Yeah.
Like have a button that's like mute the opposing side so that just victims are talking or just family are talking to each other if they want to coordinate that way.
It's
I
nice
could do
in the
that.
pregame lobby if they could do that, because
I do
then
have to
you
say
Keep
though,
watching,
Wes actually
or I'll
brought up
fucking
a very
kill ya.
key bit of that UI addition and things like that. These things often have a tendency to take a bit of time, even if the work itself is not that time consuming, because you're touching UI. There's localizations. There's
The separate. If you just had separate, that's much more. It's much more work because you have to set up two voice servers that partition the two people off. Just off the cuff, that's a lot harder to do. It take a lot longer. There are a lot more bugs that can come from that, and issues of stuff syncing properly. Where just to keep them in the same server, you just click a button that says,
mute deafen.
mute
however
other
it is.
team.
Well,
or whatever
they're not
it
supposed
says.
to
That's
hear
a-
you as
a
well.
bit
It's how it's
easier
supposed to
tackle,
work.
But still, there's UI tack on and things that need to be tested because it's not just like create button in Photoshop, put in game, it works.
Oh, my
I see
goodness.
one question here that I'm not going to answer, but I'm going to read and we're going to talk about.
Oh,
Oh,
Don't you love when I do that kind of shit?
a non-answer. You're gonna give a
Yeah.
non-answer?
Yeah, well, that's okay. What is Cook and Nancy's relationship? We're not going to answer that.
Okay.
The reason being,
Yeah, I was like, why aren't we?
yeah, the reason being is we're planning a very, very fun upcoming live stream. We'll have some new faces from Gun involved, and we'll
Who's
be
gonna
doing
be here?
the one, the only, Mr. Ronnie Hobbs.
That's right. Creative
Oh.
director
Talk.
for
Ronnie,
Texas Chainsaw
that's
Massacre.
fun.
Ronnie will be here to give you the full, in-depth. We're talking. Who knows how long that stream will go?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be prepared
Right.
with that. We'll be able to throw some, picture-in-picture stuff up to even talk about like key art and inspiration and all this kind of stuff. Will be should be a really cool stream
That's
to
cool,
for the
actually,
people who are really into lore and really
Ronnie,
want to get to know these
Ronnie
characters.
probably wrote most of it, so
And just the inspiration for like some of the levels and the level design and all that we can get into. Should be a pretty fun stream, and look for that when we get back from the break.
Now, let's see. What about Danny's Insta study and Insta tamper? Again, I apologize. You guys might have missed the bit where we talked about Danny. There are some things with Danny that we're investigating.
Keep
but
watching,
We want to make
or
sure
I'll
that we're
fucking
taking
kill
our time
you.
to be careful with them. And
Jesus.
so yeah, there's a situation with him being able to permanently keep the fuse exit door open. So that obviously is unintended, and that's something that we're fixed. The instant
That's not the
tamper,
problem,
there's an issue there where we have to kind of dig into the top end of his skill.
Great.
That being said, those investigations and conversations and that design talk is already happening. But that's not the kind of thing that we're going to slam into a rapid patch. We're going to take our time. We're going to get to the bottom of that, get it to a spot where we like it,
Fine,
and then roll
take your
something
time.
out a little more.
We don't have
with a little
time.
more breathing room to
Properly tested.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Will Nancy Trapp's keybind be changed? It can be very killer going down a well, and it's getting laggy downstairs. Okay, that looks like 3 questions piled into one. The Trapp's keybind. I'm not sure I follow. If you want to follow up and chat and let us know. If you're talking about keybinding on a console, that's a separate issue. Key binding on
I can
PC
explain
should
what
be
they
in
mean.
there, and you should be able to key bind your trap placement.
If you can't do that, that would
might be a
that would
bug,
be
yeah.
news to me, and I would definitely please let me know if you're on PC and you can't do that. I do know that like recently someone reported that they can't change.
Again, I can
the
clarify
mouse
what he
scroll
meant. I mean,
Yeah.
let me
what they
make a note on
wanted,
that. I can clarify it.
And I was like, oh really? And I jumped in quick, had a quick call, and I was like, yeah, sure enough, like that one wasn't something that was able to be rebindable, and I'm making that a priority for the next big patch that we'll have in 2024. So if that's a thing, please let us know. Or if there's anything else that's related to key binding that either isn't in there or it's not the way that some folks want it, let us know so that I can get that all into one patch instead of it being something we nickel and dime over the next however long it takes to get like all the proper feedback from everybody of what they're looking for.
Can I buy Nugget for $500? No, you cannot.
Aw.
Who do I talk to about Johnny? You talk to our community team on all of our official channels. I would say head over to the Reddit because it sounds, by your question here, like you're going to have long-form conversations that you want to have. Reddit is the best place to do that. You can get in there, you can type a whole long paragraph and go back and forth with our wonderful community team, Andy and Sid. Shout out to our community team out there.
Shout out.
Helping out. Yeah, you can talk to them about it. They do an excellent job of surfacing everything about, everything feedback to the rest of the team and keeping everybody informed. So by all means, hit the Reddit and give them the longer feedback since that's what it looks like there. What?
Yeah, can we?
Why take a
can we
long time to
address
fill
the
in the
lobby
last family
dodging?
member spot? And
Just the
I've
lobby
seen a couple
timer?
of ones here about the matchmaking situation. A couple of people referencing the matchmaking issue about that last family member spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've actually investigated this how many times now? I think 2 to 3 times.
At least 3 of a full in-depth, like on the server side, like server logic, matchmake logic, like what is there something that's wrong here?
Just
And
get rid of the lobby timer.
Single exercise we've done, the code is correct, the logic is correct. So there's something else outside of that.
It's not enough
now,
family
some
mains.
of that may be player behavior for dodging, maybe. Because we've also seen that people can dodge. I'm sorry, people can enter lobby and dodge before it's even visible. Like you don't even notice they did it. So if they're like, I want to play as insert character, whatever it is, they join a lobby, see that character slot is taken, and immediately escape back out. To those that are sitting in the lobby, they didn't even see that happen because it switches it that fast. And so that's still frustrating. So there's player behavior that could be a thing, but every time we lift the hood and go down that route of is this a logic thing, it doesn't appear to be that. Now, one thing, dropping a little scoop here, that you're probably going to be like, dude, why'd you say that?
Lobby timer?
Because I want it.
Say it. Say it out loud.
Early next year, we're just going to remove the timer out of the lobby completely, so that there's nothing that's like counting down until X amount of people are there, and then the timer just it's like 5 seconds and the match is starting. Therefore, it gives the server proper time to backfill. If people continuously dodge, somebody somewhere is going to say, I'm fine with playing with that character, just let me in.
Yeah.
So expect that as a thing in very, very early next year.
Oh, that's so far away.
There you go.
I know it's like a month, but fuck.
I have somebody here saying, here's great exercise. Just play the game. Just play it, and you will see the issue. And I wanted to touch on this. I get that there's a dig in there, and I get that you're upset and you're frustrated. There's been a little bit of rumblings about how much they do play the game. They don't even play the game. Do they test the game?
Who, us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Here comes this, too.
I just wanted to kind of quickly put it at least to bed as much as I can, because let's be honest here, there's going to be people who are going to hear me talk here and walk away and continue to think that we don't touch the game. It's kind of an absurd thought that we haven't put the last 5 years at this point of our lives into this game. It's an absurd thought to think that we would take something that close to us and then, get in there and swing hammers around and make a mess out of it without the care that it deserves after basically being something we lived for the last 5 years of our lives.
Give me a very personal
we
answer
play
to
the
this,
game.
which
We
I
play the
get.
game significantly. We test the game significantly internally. We've been playing this game a hell of a lot. for a very long time. This concept that we don't know what's going on with our game because we haven't played it is a silly one. So let's just put it to bed, get that out of the way. Not going to catch any flies with that honey, and let's just move on to some questions that are.
All right, I'll come back to that one too. I wrote that down. Come back to that one too.
Debut album when? Now that's the perfect question to follow up with. I'm in the same camp. We need to do that. Sunny buff. Sunny and characters, characters like Sunny. Also, I saw somebody mention a Sissy buff. They wanted to see something with Sissy and how she operates in hiding spots.
Jake Gyllenhaal, what a
I think it was
compliment.
Reset Reload said, let's get some changes to how she hides so that you can do some more jump scares and things like that. I think there's a lot of things that we've seen along those lines, and like the Sunny buff conversation we've seen. We've obviously you guys
More jump
every time we
scares,
go live,
Sissy,
you guys are
please.
bringing that to our attention. I think that's things that are they're a little longer to work through. They're not something that's going to make its way into a patch like this. The 270 fixes in the big patch were things that we wanted to get, tackled throughout the rapid patch phase. But the situation with rapid patching meant we had to harden the build, get to a point where we could do that. So we wanted to get those things in, like car on gas station, for example. Had to wait to get them in until, we were further along in that process. So yes, there's things that we would like to take a look at and things that we'd like to do. There's conversations going on with design right now based on this feedback, but everything does take time. And so we hear you on the Sunny buff situation. We hear you on the Danny this and the Sissy that conversation. These things are, not lost on us, and they're long-term conversations that we're having. And we're just going to grab one or two more, and then we're going to call it here, guys. So get your questions in. We've got, obviously, tons of work to get back to doing, so we're going to call it soon. Will the victims ever start screaming when being chased, like in the trailer? Do you want to speak a little bit to that audio situation there?
I mean, I hear it. I hear that as a request. I mean, there's a tack onto that might not be the best, is if you're trying to give the family the slip, and your character's just like screaming their head off, and you can see how you as the player would be like, stop yelling, shut up, I'm trying to get away and be quiet. And if now
F13 did it
could
all
they
the time,
be screaming like just local to you? I mean, I guess, but it's like a weird thing for us to build and put in just for that like moment. I think it would probably feel better if you were the family member chasing someone and you heard them screaming like that. That would be cool. But again, that's sort of negating. It feels like a powerful thing to do if you're trying to escape the family, give them the slip, get into a hiding spot, get away. It seems like it might not be the best. While cinematically speaking, I 100% agree with you. It would be really cool to see. But I'm afraid it would, that's the impact of that. So hopefully that makes sense.
I also saw a comment in here that was asking about the Nicotero audio, or the Nicotero chainsaw rather, when that's going to be available. That's coming at a later date. That's something that we kind of like. The situation came up where we had that conversation on the check-in stream with Sid. We kind of left that and went, hey, what could we do here? Is that a possibility? And then, as you guys know, you saw regular Leatherface carrying the Nicotero saw. So,
probably should have put it in the
we want to
trailer
make that
if it wasn't
happen. We
ready.
wanted to have a little fun with you guys with that trailer, but by the same note, that's gonna take a bit. We're gonna go into 2024 with that one.
Yep.
One more thing I wanted to get out of the way here. I see a question from Jay. Matt, I would like to look at my perks loadouts while ready up in the lobby. I understand where you're coming from on that. There's an issue there. Most folks don't like that situation of, I'm in there looking at my loadouts. Oh, I got the wrong loadout on. Let me move things around, and then the match starts because they were readied up. So I get where you're coming from, that it would be nice to view it, but it also would potentially create problems. And who knows, also possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, issues with you being midway through some type of change when the match starts and blanking out your loadout and whatnot. There's a little more to it than I think at surface level there is immediately clear, but absolutely that's something we can report on. And that's something that we need to be bringing to the community team over on the subreddit or on Twitter.
Yep.
Get them reporting.
Yeah,
that
Soggy
to the
Biscuit. We'll come
design
back to
team.
that in a second.
I think that's pretty. I think we're pretty good here. Yeah, I would say when new execution for family, we have those things coming. Yeah, it's a lot of the same. When's this coming? When's that coming?
Yeah, when we had a stream that we did. I don't know when that was. It feels like a month ago now, where we sat down and sort of spilled the beans on a lot of stuff that people had questions about. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? So I would advise go back. It's a long stream, I'll tell you that, but there's a lot of gems in there, and I'm sure some of your favorite YouTubers did like a recap of the stuff that we said in that stream, and that's going to answer a lot of the questions that you're having about future content.
Hey, we did.
Are there? Are you doing stuff with the other movies in the franchise? Like we talk about all those things in that other stream. So I'd recommend watching that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also up on our YouTube. So in case you don't want to watch through Twitch, if you want to watch there, head over to the Gun Interactive YouTube. Yeah. All right, guys, that about does it. Somebody highlighted their message to just say bots. I don't know if we're bots or what.
Oh, you half a meatball.
Neat. All right, guys. Listen, that's going to do it for us.
Offline bots, you half a meatball.
We won't be going live again before the holiday. So, first off, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for spending the time here today. Thanks for all your patience and all of your feedback on our video game. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of our community. Make sure you keep the feedback coming over on the official subreddit, the official Twitter accounts, all of our socials, really. And, yeah, keep an eye out for the Muerto Times. Keep an eye out for patch notes. Keep an eye out, hopefully, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, for the upcoming Rapid patch. And I hope you guys all have a safe holiday and, don't drink too much on New Year, and we'll see you guys soon.
Fuck.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care, gang. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, someone already said this, and I thought it was about, mostly the last couple streams have kind of give this, overwhelming amount of hope, and that one kind of just made me a little nervous. Let me tell you one thing I circled here. I got 3 sticky notes, and I want to go over all this. Because there are some things that were a little confusing. One, I circled sumo. I think we're starting to see a little bit how sumo's getting overwhelmed, and I kind of feel bad for Wes and Matt having to sit there and kind of explain coding and programming issues, and they're now at this point where we can't give you specific answers because we're waiting on sumo to do it. So yeah, kind of at that point, and that is tough. So I don't want to shit all over them, but I know that's clearly happening, right? They're on sumo's just getting a little overwhelmed now. It's a lot of shit to take on, and they're getting a little overwhelmed. But let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning to the end, because I have some thoughts on this, and I probably don't talk about this in the video too, but the UI issue. The UI issue, dude. The music's loud? Where's the music? I don't even have music playing. Oh yeah, dude, shit. Sorry, guys. I thought I muted it. I thought I muted it forever ago. My bad. Okay. The UI chainsaw. I said that it's probably not a UI issue because let me explain. All right, I'm not a game developer, but I do work on video games, and UI just because I played Leatherface so much, UI is a visual thing, right? And what they're saying is that the reason you're stalling is because you are thinking that your meter is here when really in game, in code, it's here. So you're thinking you're up here at 90% rev rate, but really you're down here. So when you go for the big hit, you drop down below your rev and you stall your chainsaw. The problem is, if it was a UI bug, when you get to here, you can test it yourself. You get to here, you can watch it hit, and you can overheat. You'll overheat. You'll watch it happen the second it hits. So if this isn't an issue, why is this not an issue, right? This is fine. This works the way it's supposed to. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a UI bug, especially because it comes with a complete. It's a new sound effect. I don't think it's a UI bug, and so I think if they go in and just change the UI and not something underneath on that saw, I don't think it'll actually fix it. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, they're just doing what they're relaying to you what Sumo told them, right? They're not programmers. They're not programmers. They're not quote-unquote developers. So Sumo did some testing based on feedback, and that's what they came out with, was a UI bug, and then, you know, Guns relaying that to us. But UI just doesn't really make sense to me. But just to explain that, okay? Let's go to Danny. Danny, what they said, they're looking into him. They're actually looking at statistics. They're looking at actual, you know, real-time statistics and how he works and how overpowered he can be. They did say that he's not being adjusted at all in this upcoming patch, which would mean we're probably...
or I'll fucking kill you.
Probably looking at January. If they do a nerf to Danny, you're probably looking at January. It's probably going to roll into next month. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'm so scared. I said this in the video that came out today. I think Danny has the potential. When you get a whole bunch of maxed out Dannys, you're going to get to the point where people will not play against him at all. So that's a scary thought. Johnny, they're reverting him, but only temporarily. But the thing is, dude, they said it's supposed to be a distance thing, not a speed thing. You're supposed to be able to. Those are the same thing. Like when you swing with Johnny, if you move ahead on your swing, there's no way to not have it correlate to speed unless you make it where Johnny can't swing as fast, which means then you're going to nerf fired up. So yeah, I think it's going to lead to a change in that perk, not so much a change in Johnny eventually, but we'll see. But for now, for Johnny mains out there, he is going to be reverted, and you will be able to swing fast. You'll be able to swing fast and have your lunge back. Ability is staying the same. At least that's what it made it seem like. Hiding spots are broken as fuck. Yeah, I know. If you haven't experienced that, you're lucky, because, yeah, people just use hiding spots and loop against you, and you can't do anything about it. Because you grab them out of there, and they just walk away. You know? They just walk away. Off for the holidays, I wrote that down. Gun's going to get a lot of shit for this just because of the position that the game is in, and that they have a lot of things they need to address, but, oh, you're taking this much time for holidays. Dude, in the video game industry, in the movie industry, no, the week before Thanksgiving through the week after New Year's, they shut down. Like, there's such a small amount of people still doing work in that industry during that time. It's like, all right, we're taking this time off. Game Awards, all right, now we're off again. Like, that's how it just kind of happens. Everything just shuts down in this industry. So when they talk about CERT potentially being delayed, that's why. It makes complete sense. But it's unfortunate because things like Danny and what other fixes were they talking about? Yada yada. Whatever. But it's probably going to roll into like the first or second week of January. And that feels like a long ass time, even though it's only a month. Okay, talked about that. We could talk about the Nancy key binding. Let me tell you what I have experienced with Nancy and key binding, and why you can't really fix it with key binding. Not so much playing as Nancy, but going against Nancy, is that her traps, if they're in a gap, if you have a bone scrap, you can press X to get rid of it. But then if you don't, it's like you press the same button to go through it. So then you can press the button that you thought you're supposed to press to go through the gap or remove the trap, and then you'll hit it anyway because you pressed the wrong button. You can't fix that with key binding because currently it's one button, it's two binds. So a little confusing, but that's what that question was trying to ask, but they just worded it really weird. That makes sense. Timer's going away. That's big. Thank fucking Christ. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, people are still going to dodge, but at least the lobbies aren't going to break anymore. And eventually, you will. The only thing that sucks about this is that's rolling into next year. So for the next month, especially with Danny not being changed right away, that's going to be so much lobby dodging. So much lobby dodging. So those lobbies are just going to keep breaking and keep breaking and keep breaking. But eventually, the timer is going to be removed from the pregame lobby. Hallelujah. So that way the lobbies will no longer close. Thank God. Because Jesus Christ, what a horrible experience. I only have two more things. Sissy jump scares. They said they're looking to Sissy and potentially making it where she can when she's in hiding spots, she goes in and out of them quicker. I think is what they're kind of talking about. And if that's the case, then Sissy could actually be effective with jump scares, because right now she comes out of a hiding spot, you see her, and you move out of here. That's kind of it. So that'd be nice. So Sissy and Hitchy could actually both have more effective jump scares. And really, when they're crouching or if Sissy's in a hiding spot, the terror radius is like completely gone. And if Sissy can move in and out quicker, that would help. Last thing, they talked about internal testing. I've seen it in our comments today. I mentioned it in the video today. Saw it all in the chat when they were talking about it, that they don't test their game. He's like, how is this shit getting through testing? Well, Matt answered it in a little bit more of a personal way, where he's like, obviously we play our game, you know, we've been working on it for 5 years, obviously we play the game, and we play it during, yeah, I know you play the game, and it's not trying to be a personal thing, but the problem is, they need a whole testing branch, dude, like, and I'm sure they probably actually have one, but they need people on their test group that play like their community plays. Man, they ought to just grab like 10 of you guys, you know? They need people that are going to play the rush meta. They need people that are going to go really fast and door slam and abuse anything that can be abused, because there's no freaking way you play as Danny, as a member of his community, someone who's like a really good player in this community. You play as level 3 Danny and you don't see the problem. You don't see the problem within one playthrough with Danny, and you're like, oh shit, okay, this is a little overpowered. So that's what it's not about. We all know you play your game. Like, we're not saying, oh, you're just milking this game for money, you don't even care about it. No, that's not what anyone's saying, I don't think. If you're saying that, then all right, that's a little ignorant. But no, if you're like, clearly you're missing things that shouldn't be missed, and it's like glaring things. So that's what it is. There's just something being missed in QA. So that's all. It's not meant to be personal. It's just meant to point out fucking glaring issues, man. Like, how are they being missed? But also, when you drop a patch with 250 fixes, 250 changes to your game on a small team, low budget game, yeah, how are you possibly going to hit every single thing? I would have probably prioritized testing the new characters, especially when you don't have an in-game currency. I probably would make sure that they're not super overpowered, so that the pay to win isn't getting you slapped in the face, man. They're getting hit over the head right now, the 2x4, with the pay to win, because these characters are so damn good, especially Danny, but Nancy's good too, man, and she's got broken fucking perks and all that. So yeah, it's not meant to be personal. It's not meant to talk shit. It's like, dude, you definitely could be hitting some of these things, you know? That way you wouldn't have to deal with all the drama. That's all. I don't really have anything else. I got my rant out of the way there. That was a little bit of, I don't want to say it was an unnecessary stream, because I like that they're so personable and they're trying to talk to us, but yeah, just the game's in a bad spot, and it was like, that felt more like, hey, it's still gonna be in a bad spot in a month. Just give us another month, and that's tough. Oh yeah, Nicotero swap, yeah, that's gonna roll into 2024 as well. So, so I gotta go, because my wife has to go to the hospital. Not for her, for someone. We have a family member in the hospital. But we're probably gonna be back tonight. I want to react to the Game Awards for members, and then Killer Clown should have some news tonight, so that should be exciting. We'll see how that goes. But watch the Game Awards, man. Watch the Game Awards. If you haven't watched the Game Awards before, you need to. It's all those very exciting moments, man. There's always all those big world premieres at the Game Awards. 100 million people tuning into that sucker. It's gonna be exciting. But that's it. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate hanging out. Appreciate me watching the stream with me. Giving me some company watching that stream, and listen to me rant afterwards. It was fun. That's it. We'll look at the Marital Times, and I will do a video on the Marital Times. It just might come out tomorrow. We're on notifications. We had a video stream and another stream happening today, and the Killer Clowns news. So it's like, there's too many notifications. You only get 3 every 24 hours. You get 3 notifications every 24 hours. That's how it works. But that's it. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. We'll talk tonight.